Hi, and welcome to the Art of Unraveling podcast and my YouTube channel. I'm Erin McGuire, somatic coach, intuitive channel, and healer. And today I wanted to talk about something that we all know about, but I think there's a lot of diverse information about, not diverse information, but just our interpretation of the information can be very skewed. And that is rest. So I'm currently teaching a somatic coaching program in my Lightworker Academy. And the somatic coaching, we deeply learn the nervous system, and then those people learn how to become a somatic coach as well. And they've been mapping their nervous systems over the last month and learning a lot about their nervous system. And one woman, I'm going to share some different examples and things. And one woman, she said, I am exhausted throughout the day. I'm absolutely exhausted. And I said, but I bet when you go to lay down, you can't sleep. Like you're not tired. You can't like take a nap. And she's like, yeah. And she's also going through, a great loss and lost somebody very near and dear to her. And so there's a lot of childhood trauma there too. And so when we get stuck in a sympathetic nervous system, especially those of us with childhood trauma that grew up with narcissists or with people that couldn't give us the emotional attunement, the physical affection, or those kinds of things that we need, we get stuck in sympathetic nervous system states. And so that's where you're very activated. It's a more of an anxiety type state. It's the fight, it's the flight, it's the fawn, where fawn is people pleasing. And so when you get stuck there, it's kind of like your on switch is just on all the time. And it doesn't turn off. You don't really get to that safe and connected place that often. And so when we're stuck in these, activated states like this with the nervous system, it's constantly scanning the environment for danger and it's picking up all these signals of danger. It's just kind of like the interpretation is signals are not firing correctly because of how you were raised. So if we were raised in really chaotic environments, then the nervous system just gets stuck there because it just thinks everything is dangerous and its only job is to keep you alive and to keep you safe. So when that happens, and the same thing happened for me when I was stuck in chronic fatigue, it's like I was absolutely exhausted throughout the day, and around 1 or 2 PM, I just, like, could not do another thing, and I would just go lay down in the bed, and sometimes I would watch TV, sometimes I would have my laptop, like, propped on my knees, and I would just be doing a little bit of work or watching TV, like, but I couldn't sleep, but I had to be laying down. And, it could be argued that wasn't really resting, right? But that's something that I told her to do is at the very least, just make sure you go lay down. You don't have to take a nap, but if you can, that's obviously really good and probably what your body needs. But you may find that you're kind of stuck in that on place. And the thought of laying down, even just to like lay flat, even if your eyes are open and you're watching TV, could feel very shameful, could feel very guilt ridden because, within the wiring of childhood trauma is often a lot of things about productivity and, being enough and doing enough. And that probably a lot of belief systems of not doing enough and not being enough. And so to go against those structures of ways of being can feel very triggering. So it's interesting for a lot of people that have been through childhood trauma, rest can be triggering. Like who would have known? Who would have known that rest could be a trigger and could actually send you further. So I want this information to get to you because at the very least, you can just tell yourself like if you're somebody that can't just lay there and just be. I'd highly recommend not scrolling on your phone if possible, because that's not rest. Laying down and just scrolling on your phone for endless hours is not rest. TV watching can sometimes be restful, if you're just doing that. Sometimes it can also be dysregulating depending on what you're watching. But I did find in my own experience that sometimes just like watching TV was helpful. Like it kind of felt like I was doing something, even if I wasn't doing anything. Uh, and then again, for me, because I have a business, I would have to sometimes work while lying in bed. And then sometimes I would just, kind of lay there and close my eyes, even if I couldn't completely fall asleep, but just allow myself to shut down my eyes for a little bit. But you'd be so surprised what just laying down will do for you. So it's like anything. It's like riding a horse that's kind of wild, right? It's gonna buck. Your body is gonna buck. It's going to fight back. It's gonna be like your mind's gonna be telling you all kinds of stories like, oh, you gotta go do the dishes. Your house is a mess. You need to do the laundry. You gotta pick your kids up. It's like it's gonna be telling you all the things like a bucking horse, like a wild horse, and you just hopped on the back of it and you're trying to tame that horse. At first, it's going to be very uncomfortable, right? You're not going to be able to sit still. You might even get bucked off a couple times. But if you can keep getting back on the horse, if you can keep repeating the action, maybe today you just rest for like 3 minutes. You just lay down I'm just going to do this for 3 minutes. If that's all that your nervous system will allow you to do. But if you can have that image of like taming a wild horse, I think it can be really helpful for you, for those of you that struggle with rest, which I know this conversation just sounds crazy, doesn't it? But a lot of people that get stuck in the sympathetic nervous system, the activated nervous system, rest is very challenging. A lot of us are moving, like I realized when I unwound anxiety, like that I had been wound up with my whole life, it just like it felt so strange to just start slowing down. It didn't feel natural. I learned that I had been operating from a sense of urgency. I had been operating, even running my business behind the scenes, never when I'm with clients. I'm always very grounded when I'm with clients, but behind the scenes, I was operating from anxiety. Like, you got to do this, you got to do that. Da, da, da. What about this? This is coming. Da, da, da. And like that was kind of going on in the background. And it was so used to it. It was going on like that in other areas of my life too. And I was so used to it, I didn't even notice that it was going on. So when you start to unravel and pull that thread, it can feel very dangerous. So you want to just move at the pace of the nervous system. We never want to overdo it, right? You don't want to like force yourself to lay there for like an hour when you're in absolute, stress response mode, right? But to begin to train your body like you would train a wild horse, that this is actually the way we're meant to operate. We call this titration. So it's like maybe your level of discomfort is like this, and we want to just go a little bit further, and then we come back in, right? So that's titration. So you want to take it slow. This is also a feminine principle, the principle of being. So rest is really a feminine principle, and it's so nourishing for your nervous system. So that's what I want you to do this week. I want you to rest, not with your cell phone. Put that away. Just lay down, close your eyes, maybe for 10 minutes, and just let yourself be free, free of the to-do list, free of the tasks, and just be in the present moment with what your body, your inner being is telling you, because the messages are there. We're just not hearing them because we're living in this sense of urgency. the sense of needing to do things, to be productive, to feel like we're good enough. So give that a try this week and let me know how it goes. And I have an aligned program coming up. It's a 12-week program. It's live, it's group, and we dive deeply into the nervous system. We dive deeply into healing the mother wound so that you can feel more peace, have more confidence, be more empowered, and to really live into your aligned, authentic self. So message me if you would like any information on that. You can comment below this video or send me a message at purelighealings with an S at gmail.com. Thank you for being here.